Hello and welcome to the number. Our number this week is 27. I can't wait to get it out. I'm Wendy Brookhouse. I am a certified financial planner and business value builder.
And I am Kelsey McCauley, a certified exit planning advisor.
Woohoo! Well, 27. 27 is the number of business owners that actually have two critical numbers that they're aware of. One is, what is the value of their business? And the second one is, do they know how much they need that business to be worth to live the life they want to when it's sold?
So that sounds like a very important number, Wendy, of knowing that. So how do they know their number? I understand the valuation side's a little more straightforward because you can go to an accountant or there's other options as well. But what about knowing that other number?
How much they need it to be worth? It's really a function of the life you want to live when you're done with your business. Now, for some people, they're going to go on and do something else. But for others, maybe it's a slowdown or a solid stop or, oh, I'm going to become an investor in other businesses. So those are all things that need capital. But your day-to-day life requires capital. It requires income. And I don't think you should do rules of thumb when you're doing this stuff. So I think you have to get into that messy middle of figuring out exactly on a dollar basis after tax, what do you need to live your life?
So rules of thumb, give me an example of what people, it's the straight line math.
4%, you will live off 4% of your assets. So if you have $1 million in assets, you
40
will
grand.
need 40 grand, or that's what you can safely take. But there's so many factors, Kelsey. Like maybe you have no one to leave that money to. We have no kids. Why would we want to have our capital preserved? Why wouldn't we spend it? And that may be the case for others, or they may have a specific gift they want to leave behind that can be factored in as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
And it's doing that math, and it's interesting that only 27% of business owners know both of those. Like that's kind of, actually, it's not that shocking, is it?
No, I was actually shocked it was that high.
Yeah, this is all coming from a new ebook put out by the Value Builders. And we'll put a note in the show notes because if you'd like a copy of this, we'll get it to you. Just send me a note. But it's very interesting that only that 27% have both. So we just talked about how important it is to have it for your personal life so that you can fund it, so that you can say, I'm going to spend 50 grand a year on travel. What does that mean I need to have? I'm going to have the cottage and the house. What does that look like? All those things. Perfect. But what does it do to know what that number is when you go to sell or you get an unsolicited offer?
It's massive. Like always knowing those two numbers, like at a yearly basis, do an evaluation, whether it's a full blown one because you're getting, ready for a sale or a state freeze or some major event. But generally, you don't need to do that every year because not a lot of things change. So if you get one, and then you can play with the numbers and get fairly close to something else if there's no major changes. Again, that's just trying to save a dollar to people because people are like, oh, I don't want to spend all that kind of crazy money. But it's extremely valuable because if you do get the unsolicited offer, you know what your business is worth that day. And if you also have the other number of, hey, if I sell that business for X, does X cover everything I need? Because you were saying earlier, like I know a lot of people, they retire. We live in Nova Scotia, but people have their children have moved away and they have grandchildren. So for the first 5, 10 years or so, they're going to see their grandkids. They're traveling to Boston, Toronto, and all these other different places.
Vancouver. They're like, yeah.
Yeah. And that stuff sucks up a lot of money. Yeah, when you're 90 years old and stuff, you're not going as far. So
But maybe
to
you're paying
Wendy's,
for them to come see you.
yeah. So I mean, that to me is there's a lot of different factors. So it's not straight line math, but knowing those numbers puts you in a really good position of negotiation because it's you can say yes or no almost on the spot because you have a good clue.
Yeah, you know what it has to be. So then you can know what levers. Well, if I accept this offer, which is lower, then you can go, well, this is the lifestyle I can lead. Or it's a little bit higher, in which case, well, do I want to take that money off the table now? I think it gives you so much power in negotiations because you're so sure of what your basement number is, and what above it, everything above it can be gravy.
Yeah, and if you're short a bit, you can, and it's all friendly, and you like what's going on. You can take a second bite of the apple. You know,
What does that mean, Kelsey? I don't completely understand second bite.
so say you own 100% of your company, and you
Okay.
sell it for you sell half of it. It's worth 20 million bucks. You sell half of it to somebody else for $10 million. You still own half
Half
that
of it. Yeah.
company, but the idea is in X years, 2 years, 3 years, 1 year, some set date in the future, you're going to sell all that,
My
the
second
rest of
half.
your 50% or a percentage of that,
Yeah.
to the new owner, and that's what the and it's at the new evaluation. So you sold them 50% at a $20 million valuation. They've bought you, now it's $30 million X years later.
So your
You get a
half is now
15.
worth 15. The second
You
half.
get the 15. So that's the second half. Like you're there, you're helping, you're doing whatever people, there's a million different ways to paper what has to be done in those years from each side. But generally, if you're the person they don't want to rock the apple cart, they keep you. You're there, and you can sunset it in a few years and get a second bunch of money, because if you need it 25, and it's only worth 20 today, stay on, because you
Mm.
still need to stay on. But why don't you take $10 million off the table today and put it in your bank account and do a few things, or give it away to whatever you need to at that point,
Well,
instead of risking it, because 3 years later there could be no company.
I kind of look at it this way too: is that if that initial payout, let's say you're either getting second bite, or there's an earn out, meaning we want you to stay on for a certain period of time, or we're going to hold back some money so that hit certain metrics are hit, all that type of stuff. Because it happens a lot where people are doing vendor takebacks, where you're expected to finance part of it. There's all kinds of ways that you may not be getting 100% of the money up front. But if
I
you
think
know that the money you get at the payment is more than enough, who cares? The
it's
rest
an
of it's
excellent
just,
point.
yeah.
I think I mentioned that in one of these other podcasts, and I can't remember, it was 98 or 99. The people, whatever you're expecting to get from that payment, you signed on the line, you're like, hey, I'm going to get my $10 million for my half. It's like 1 or 2% of people actually get the 10 million, because it's always, hey, this wasn't right. You don't have operating
So the difference
procedures here.
between the letter of intent and the actual closing number doesn't always match.
I saw a stat, and I can't remember where I saw it, but it like matches 1 or 2% of the time.
Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah.
Well,
But I mean, you think about it, people, you don't know what you don't know. You start getting in there, you think a piece of equipment's good, someone does due diligence, and it's like, hey, it needs 50 grand worth of maintenance. Well, there's 50 grand
yeah,
gone.
yeah,
So I mean, it's not, it's really easy to understand. But the people who are getting the 1 or 2%, I think they know what they have. They know their numbers. It's super solid. They know everything along the whole supply chain in their company. So when they had to go defend it and due diligence,
mm,
that's bulletproof.
yeah. I think that's all part of being prepared, is doing that.
Eh,
So yeah, it's an interesting piece about those two numbers. Um, that 27 have both, 33% have one. But here's the interesting number, the other interesting number. We started with 27, but 40 is also interesting, is that 40% of business owners have neither of them. So they're kind of operating blind. No idea of what could be, should be, needs to be.
And do you know why that is?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with mindset. It's almost like, hey, I start doing this work, then I must sell my business, or I have to sell. No, it's data is information, right? I don't know if I've said it on this podcast, but I've certainly said it in the past. You need to know at least three things on a regular, reliable basis, which is, what is your revenue? What is the profit? What is the value of your company? Like, that's the third metric. And then if we want to extrapolate by knowing what you need in retirement, or slowing down, or life after work, like whatever word works for you, then you can start measuring what the gap is and start making adjustments. But if you don't know, you don't know.
No, that's what we always talk about, the different gaps. It's okay.
Hmm.
The business is, like the earlier example, it's worth 20 today. You need to get 25. If you sell half of it to someone else, they have the synergies. They can easily get it to 25. You you still had to work, but you also got $10 million off the table, right?
Yeah.
But it's what are those gaps and how are you going to fulfill it? Or it's, hey, you have something, you're a little short for retirement. How are you going to do that
Yeah.
as well? It's like, okay, maybe I'm not going to take 3 trips a year. I'll only do 2 trips a year. Then you're not short.
Right.
But
You don't know what levers you can pull until such
but
time as you know the
if you
gap.
don't exactly, if you don't know what levers you can pull, how can you make those assumptions? I'm seeing more and more unsolicited offers
Mm.
coming through, and people are in various stages uh, of business, but none of them know what it's worth. None of them had thought about it.
Yeah.
Um, it's the preparedness that it's scary that it's not done. But the people that do have it done, because there's that other side that they do have it done and they have everything up and ready. And when someone comes and says, "Hey, we're thinking about buying your company," and you tell them, "Sign this NDA and I'll let you into my data room and get the first swath of it," that puts them, in my opinion, on notice that it's like, oh, these people are really well organized and they have this ready, and it's
Well,
a
there's going to come a day at some point, no matter what, that business will transition. And as we know, 50% of them are involuntary. Some of them never happen, and that transition could be closing. But at the same time, being the prepared as you can be along the way with your knowing these numbers and being ready, game changer on so many levels. It will change how you think about things and how you look at your business and what is the purpose of that business beyond your day-to-day income now, but as a funding vehicle for the future as well.
well, as you said, like you have 50% chance of exiting your business not on your terms because of divorce and excuse me, disability, disagreement, and the rest of them. It's the and out of 100 companies that go for sale, 20 or 30 of them only sell.
Right.
So that's the other part is you don't know your numbers. How are you like? How do you compete against the others? Like, well,
Yeah.
you're just another shop that does X. How are
Well,
you different? What are you doing? Like it's
how do you shine up that apple? We had a friend who used to
yeah.
say that, how do you be the shiniest apple on the block, right? Because this stuff's so important. And if there's 10 other businesses that are in your sector or in your related fields on the market at the same time, the one who has done the work to make it the most valuable is the one that probably has the most bargaining power as well.
Yeah, someone's doing a roll up and they're buying auto body shops. If you come in, you already have everything all zinged up perfectly, like all your procedures, and you have succession plans, you have everything put in place. You are definitely going to be worth more money than the other person that's just kind of like, I don't know where my tools are. I don't know where this is.
I
Like
don't know
when you
what the
go into
margin
that,
was on my last 3 jobs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because people have to go and take over these shops and they're going to look at your shop and say, hey, your shop's easier. It's going to be easier than this other one. I need this other one because it's in a great location, but it's going to be a nightmare of my time.
Mm.
So, and it's just a lot of times it's simple stuff. It's like, well, what's going on in that industry? It's what are they buying? What are they looking for? And how do we help that?
So before we end off, Kelsey, can you describe what a roll up is?
A roll up is you see it that someone wants to do a national brand. They've started somewhere else, and you have a plumbing company here with 50 employees, and they're like, "Hey, we want to own a plumbing company in the East Coast, so now we can say we're national." And they come in and buy you, and then someone else, and then the roll up side is they're buying everybody that's a
Buying a whole
plumber,
bunch of them. Yeah.
and it's just roll, and that's just kind of rolling them up into the parent company. So that's where if you have um, more culture, more processes, more everything, more ready, in theory, you should be worth a lot more because they have to do less work with you to roll it up into their
Right. So they're
organization.
just a roll up means that they're really just going out and they're buying a whole bunch of companies in the same sector, whether that's to go national for some other way, because they see an opportunity to make more money by owning more volume of a particular industry.
Yeah, you see an insurance company, like big insurance companies like the Royal Sun Alliances, the RSA, the Intacs. They're buying out all the independent insurers that are selling like home and auto,
Yeah. Seeing a lot
because
in vets just have gone through it.
yeah, vets have gone through it. Yeah, there's a lot of different
Dentists
dentists. You
have
see a
just
lot
gone
of
through it.
eye doctors. You
Yeah.
just see a couple brands now in eye doctors. That was a decade ago or so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what happens. They come in and consolidate it. They have a great back end to provide their customer service, and everybody's happy.
So true. Well, if you're in that 27%, congratulations. We're so excited that you have that data. And if you're not, we'll put some information below that might help you get there. Thanks so much for tuning into The Number.
Thank you, everyone.